where we left off last time, and that was with compound interest, and we were solving for different variables, the different variables in the compound interest formula. We did P, and tonight I want to do a few questions where you also have to solve for I. And yeah, so let's get to it. Let's see. So what is the interest rate if I invest 10,000 Rand and it grows to 18,000 Rand in 6 years compounded annually? So let's start off with our compound interest formula that we are going to substitute into. So it grows to 18,000. So that is my A. And I start with 10,000. So that's my P. And then my interest rate is the one we're going to solve for. And my N is 6 years. It's only compounded annually. So no need to worry about multiplying or dividing by anything. Okay, let's substitute in. A is 18,000. And then P is 10,000. And then I is what we don't know. That we are going to solve for, and then N is 6 years. Is there anyone who can tell me what our first step is going to be here? Anyone pop it in the chat or raise your hand. We're going to divide by P, says Tandalwetu. Okay, yes, I think that's a good idea. If I divide by P on this side, I must divide by P on the other side as well. And that gives me 18. Let's work that out quickly. 18,000 divided by 10,000 is 9/5. 9/5, or if you want to use the decimal, that's fine too. That's 1,8. 1 plus I to the power of 6. Okay, does anyone know what we are going to do now? We need to get I by itself. So what is our next reverse operation that we're going to do to get I by itself? Pop it in the chat or raise your hand if you know. Sure, Ms. Kaka, these Watobians are so clever. We are going to take a 6th root on both sides. That will be the inverse operation of this, the raising it to the power of 6. That will be taking the 6th root. So that's 9/5 to the power of 6, and that gives me 1 plus I. And then lastly, what have we got left to do? We need to take the 1 over to the other side. Well done, Tandalwetu and Kutlana. We subtract 1 on both sides, and then we're going to put the whole lot into our calculator so that we can see what that actually comes to. Okay, pop it in the chat when you get the answer.
Oh.
So I get, let's see some more answers from my Tobians. Don't round yet, hey? Don't round yet, and be careful when you put the root 6 of the 9/5. It's only root 6 of 9/5, and then from that you must subtract 1. So that's maybe Tabiso why you are getting 5,37. Let's see some more answers, everyone. Remember to work with us as we go through the problems. Let's not round yet. Let's just get our I is 10292 with lots of decimal places, but we need a percentage because the interest rate is a percentage. So our final answer, we need to times that by 100, and only then are we going to round. So we only round in our very last step. Okay, so we don't round here in this step, and we don't round here. We only round here at the very end. Okay, well done, everyone. Here's one more. Let's give this one a try. So this one is compounded semi-annually. I'm going to leave you alone for about 2 minutes. And we'll check in. Don't put answers in the chat. We will call for answers when the time is up. Okay. Remember that semi-annually means twice a year. So that affects your interest rate and it affects your number of years. Okay, if you have an answer, pop it in the chat. Let's see what you got. As soon as you get an answer, you can pop it in the chat. Let's get more answers in the chat, everybody. It's not quite the same as the first question, Yenzi. It is different. Is this one tricky, Ms. Coco? Do you think so?
Yeah, I almost forgot something very important at the end, but I put it in, and I think it's gonna shock everyone what it is.
Okay, I'll help a little bit, and I'll put down. We've got A is 18,000, P is 10,000, and then our interest rate, because it is compounded semi-annually, we have to divide by 2, and then our N is 4 years, and we are compounding semi-annually, so we must times the 4 by 2 as well, so we get 8. Okay, maybe that will help if I put that up. Because the interest is compounded semi-annually, so that was Tuesday's lesson when we did the different compounding periods, like if it's monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, then we have to divide the interest rate by 2 and times the year by 2 if it's semi-annually. Okay, so from here on, I think it should be fine. So as soon as you have an answer, pop it in the chat. We're going to divide now by the 10,000. So we get the same as before, the 9/5. And then no, we don't divide the 4 years by 2. We times the 4 years by 2, guys, because semi-annually means you are getting interest twice a year. So if in 1 year you get interest twice, then in 4 years you'll get interest 8 times. Okay, as soon as you've worked it out, guys, put it in the chat. We're just going to now take our 8th root. Okay. Getting some answers. Well done. Keep trying, everyone. We're going to take our 8th root. And we're going to subtract 1, and then we have I/2. Amy's also got an answer. Well done, Amy. Keep trying, everyone. Amachle, there we go. So we're going to calculate what root 8 of 9/5 is, minus 1. And then we're going to times it by 2. And then we get 15, 0, let's do the whole step so that everyone can see. 79. So we get all of those decimal places, and then we times by 100. And that gives me 15.25%. Okay. So that's an example of when you have a different compounding period. So you just have to remember to divide your interest rate by whatever is necessary, and then to times your years as well. Okay, right. Let's get on to some timelines. And I'm going to put the first one up. And when you are done reading, put your reading face. That one.
Ma'am, can we make this one a little bit bigger?
Sure.
I'm having a bit of trouble reading it, so there we go. Thank you.
When you're done reading, put your reading face. Rose, have you still not found your reading face? Still looking for it. Okay, guys, we are quite a few people now. Okay, we're like 50. So remember about participation, and when we ask for emojis, post your answers. Make sure that you are always participating in the lesson, otherwise it just goes to waste. Okay, right, so we've got 8,000 Rand is deposited into a savings account. And then the interest rate for the first 3 years is 3% per annum, compounded annually. Thereafter, the interest rate changes to 4% per annum. Okay, so the way we can solve this, or the way we can take those words and all that information and present it in a way that makes more sense, is on a timeline, on a diagram. And the reason we draw a timeline is because we have an interest rate change. So the first 3 years, we are getting 3%. And then after that, we're getting 4% per annum compounded annually. And then how much do you have at the end of the 8th year? Okay, so we can start here with today, and we are putting away 8,000. And then we have year 1, year 2, year 3. And for that time period, we are getting that interest rate of 3% per annum. So 3%, and we convert that to a decimal, that's 0.03. And then the interest rate changes to 4%, and that's going to take us up to 8 years. So this is going to be year 8, and between the third year and the final year, there we've got 5 years, right? So from year 3 till year 8, that's 5 years, and we have 4% per annum, and we can change that to a decimal to be 0.04. Okay, so we need to calculate, because of our change in interest rate, we need to calculate what our money is worth after the 3 years, and then work with it from that point onwards with the 4% interest. Okay, so we use our compound interest formula. Everything's compounded annually, so it's straightforward, no like dividing or timesing. And we start off with the 8,000, and we get 0.03 to the power of 3. Just moving things around on the screen a bit. And that takes us up to this point here. And the money, because it grows up to that point, you take that amount that's now grown by 3% for 3 years. And that is basically your principal amount for the next 5-year investment. And the way we can do it is just make another bracket and say, this money that's now grown by 3% for 3 years is now going to grow at 0.04% for 5 years. And that's going to get us our value at the end of 8 years. Okay, so pop that into your calculator. Sure, Shiraz is quick on the money here. Everyone else, pop it into your calculator and put it in the chat when you have an answer. Okay, good stuff. We should all be getting 10,635,76 on our calculators. Okay, well done. Put a thumbs up in the chat if you're happy with what we've just done and if that is understood and clear. And you can put your thumbs down as well, but then just ask a question to make sure that we can assist you in what it is you don't understand. Yes, Asanda.
Hi.
Hi, Asanda.
Can I ask for the 0.03 and to the exponent of 3? How did you get 3? At the top.
It says in the question that the interest rate for the first 3 years is 3% per annum compounded annually. So you must just read the question very carefully.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Chinamiram, you also have your hand up.
Good evening, ma'am, and fellow. Ma'am, I am still confused about the whole thing because my school hasn't done this yet. So if you don't mind, can you please explain it all over again? I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
Which part, Chinamiram? Because, yeah, which part is it that you need explaining?
Ma'am, can you please explain like the method you used here? I just want to understand the method that you used.
Okay, we're going to do another question, and
Okay.
then let's see how that goes. Okay, and then you can ask again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Right, everybody, here's the next question. Same type of question with a timeline. So I'm going to leave you alone for about 3 minutes, and let's see if you can solve this one on your own. I'm going to leave the question up from before so that you can follow the sort of, yeah, the thinking behind it. So we'll check back at about 1828. See how you're doing. If you have any questions, pop them in the chat, send them over to Ms. Coco, or raise your hand. Yes, Vitali.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, can I ask, where did you get the 5 for that second one?
So the total time period of the investment, of the time we're putting the money away, is 8 years. So the
Okay.
first 3 years, and then from 3 years to 8 years is 5 years.
Oh, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Amy, hold off with your answer for a little while. We're just going to give everyone a chance to quickly think about this. Okay, if you have an answer, pop it in the chat. Roz was waiting to press the send button.
I have a feeling he had his finger right over the button.
Amy, you can put your answer in now. Kotloano. Let's get a few more answers going. Okay, great. Let's check. So we've got our 24,000 Rand that is being put into the bank and invested. It is invested for the first 7 years at 2.25%, and then for the next 6 years, so up to 13 years, it's another 6 years, and then the interest rate changes. So then you use your formula to put that in. So we first use it to the power of 7. So we raise it to the power of 7, and then we raise it to the power of 6, changing the interest rate, and we should get 4,474,39. Excellent. Just let us know if you're still having some trouble with this. Okay. And I think what we'll do is we'll go on. I do have a challenge question for you guys. So I think what we'll do is we'll go into exchange rates and see if there's time, and then we can do the challenge question. Okay. So Chinamiram's awesome. Good to hear. All right. Yes, but you only round at the end. You don't round like within your steps. You must only round at the very end. Otherwise, each time you lose some accuracy. Okay, maybe let's just do one more in case the let's do this one with Portia. Okay, one more, guys. before we move on to exchange rates. Again, I'm going to give you 2 minutes and then we'll check in what the answer is. Okay, so Bridget, the 6 comes from the number of years, okay? Yeah, so for the first 6 years, or it's 7 years and then it's 6 years. So you must read the question very carefully, and that's why the timeline helps, because it shows the information. Instead of looking at all of those words, it gives you a very nice diagram presentation of the situation. Put a thumbs up in the chat when you're done. Don't put an answer, just a thumbs up when you're done. Okay, let's see. Time. Okay, so we've got 500,000 that Portia puts in a bank account for 15 years. For 8 of those 15 years, the interest rate is 6%. And then for the remaining 7 years, the interest rate is 7%. Okay. And then you put it into your formula. First, you raise it to the power of 8 with interest of 0.06 and then 0.07 to the power of 7. And that's our answer that we should get. I see a few of you popping that in the chat. Well done. Tihomo, don't worry, just work at your own pace. Okay, excellent. Right. Let's go on to our exchange rates. I think we are doing well with those timelines. So let's go on to our exchange rates. And what we're going to do is take a little trip around the world, and we are going to pretend that we are traveling with Australian dollars. And we are going to be going to different places. We're going to do currency calculations with our Australian dollars. Okay. So here's our conversion table. So it tells us 1 Australian dollar. So in this case, don't confuse that dollar for an American dollar. It is an Australian dollar. So 1 Australian dollar, and then it gives the exchange rates for American, New Zealand, euros, etc. Okay. So let's go to our first stop. Off we go to Asha goes to America, and before she left, she exchanged 1,500 Australian dollars into American dollars. So how many American dollars did she get? So to help us, I'll just write it here. I'll write it as Australian dollars. 1 Australian dollar is 0.73 American dollars. Okay, if you have the chat, if you have the answer, pop it in the chat. So she's exchanging, Asha, 1,500 Australian dollars, and then how much does she get for American dollars? Pop it in the chat. And does anyone maybe want to unmute and tell us how they got that? Yes, Yenzi.
Ma'am, I said 1,500 times the 0.73.
Times by 0.73. Well done. And that gives us 1095 Australian dollars. Okay, well done. Off we go to our second question. And now we are skiing in Canada, or Sally is anyway. Before she left, she exchanged 500 Australian dollars into Canadian dollars. So let's go look what the Canadian dollar conversion rate is. That's 0.97. It's over here. So 1 Australian dollar is 0.97 Canadian dollars. So how many Canadian dollars did she get for her 500 Australian dollars? Pop your answer in the chat. Okay, and that is 485. Well done, everybody. Excellent. Okay, where are we going next? So we've got Jaden. Jaden came to Australia on an exchange trip from Japan. When he got here, he exchanged 25,000 yen into Australian dollars. How many Australian dollars did he receive? So here's our conversion for Japanese yen. It's 83.04, gives me 1 Australian dollar. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Boncle. I'm sure, be careful here, guys. 25,000 Japanese yen into Australian dollars. So for you to get 1 Australian dollar, you need to give 83 yen. Yeah. So we're not changing Australian dollars to yen. We are changing yen to Australian dollars. So if you have to pay 83.04 yen for $1, we can't be timesing. Yeah. That's better. Okay, so we are going to say 25,000 divided by 83.04. And that's 301.06. Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, I see Fumiso says they get it now. Okay, well, one last stop. And read carefully before you just blindly do something, okay? Make sure that you're doing the right thing. So Rex went to Seminyak, I've never heard of that, Indonesia, in his winter holidays. He took 750 Australian dollars with him to exchange into Indonesian rupiah. How many Indonesian rupiah did he receive? So where's our exchange rate? Whoa. $1 is 10,516.65. Okay. So 1 AUD is 10,516.65. And he's got 750 AUD. So how many rupiah is he going to get? 750. Oh. Yo, that is 7,887,487.5. So he gets millions and millions of rupiah. Imagine carrying that around.
Ma'am, no,
Maybe
I'm
they've got
moving to,
those.
yeah,
Eh?
I'm moving to Indonesia. I think I can become a millionaire if I move to
We could be
Indonesia.
millionaires in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Right, well done, everybody. So how are we feeling about a little bit of a challenge? Are we ready? Put a thumbs up in the chat if you're feeling ready. Same with Mozambique. Hey, are we gonna give a challenge a go? Not saying anything. Oh, come on, let's do it. Let's do it. We can do it. It's not so bad anyway. No, I've lost my challenge. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Which answer for me, sir? Is it the exchange rate one? So we times the 750 by the 10516,65. That's how we got that answer. Okay. But right, let's go on to our challenge. Okay. And ma'am, maybe what we must do is, let's make this a voluntary challenge. We can post the quiz in the chat if they want to go on and do the quiz, and those who want to stay and try the challenge can do so. Okay, guys, so if you want to go off and do the quiz, that's the end of our lesson and the end of our financial maths. But if you want to stay and do the challenge, then you're welcome to do that. But it's voluntary and you don't have to. Amy's staying. Nice, Amy. Good to know. Happy that you're staying. So if you are staying for the challenge, read the question so long and start by thinking about it, by drawing a timeline. See if about 10 people have bailed. Run away. It's not even so bad. It's fine. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute to just draw your timeline for this question and to really get thinking about it. Sure. Sure, someone has an answer already. Okay, so it says that a certain amount of money was invested 10 years ago and is now worth 200,000. The interest rate during the first 6 years was 3.5% per annum, compounded annually. And for the remaining 4 years, the interest rate was 4.6%. I'm just going to move this marker because it's a little bit unrealistic. It should be more like that. So 4.6%. So guys, those of you who are getting an answer, just check if your answer makes sense, because the money today is worth 200,000. So 10 years ago, it couldn't have been more than 200,000. Your answer to start off with must be a number less than 200,000. If you're getting a number more than 200,000, you're not working it out correctly. Okay, so try again. So I'm going to convert my interest rates to decimals. Okay, and this is 6 years, and this is 4 years. Okay, so for those of you who got an answer, do you want to raise your hand and tell me how you did it? Amakle, Chinamiram, Shiraz, you guys who got answers, do you want to maybe share with us? Okay, Chinamiram was first. What did you do?
Okay, ma'am. So I did the time plan thingy
Yes.
diagram, and then I did 200,000 divided by 1 plus 3,5 over 100 to the power 6 times 1 plus 4,6 over 100 to the power 4. And that's how I got my answer.
That's wonderful, Chinamiram. That is exactly right. Well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
So we are basically working out what the p-value is. And we first have to work it back to the 4 years and the 0,046 and 4 years. And then we do the 0,035 to the power of 6. Okay, there's a few of you got that, so well done. Excellent, Amakle. And I think Shiraz also got that, and Kutlano, Palesa, well done, guys. Excellent. And Nadumo. Okay, and those of you who are getting an answer bigger than 200,000, just reread the question again. We don't start off with 200,000. 200,000 is what we have at the end. Yes, Chinamira, of course you too, because you're the one who answered it. So well done. Okay, I'm just going to get my ducks in a row here and also work it out. 0.046 to the power of 4, and then 1 plus 0.035 to the power of 6. I think you guys are ready for grade 11 timelines. Hey, Miss Coco, what do you think?
I think you guys will crush grade 11. You guys are amazing. Well done.